Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. More than half a century has passed. India got a terrible defeat at the hands of China, and an army commission headed by Lieutenant General Henderson Brooks was set up to inquire into the crushing military defeat. The report was submitted, and in these 60 years, under Nehru's government and the governments following that, have ensured that the report does not officially see the light of the day. Some people have seen it, people who were involved, but the report remains top secret even today. Only two copies of the report were believed to exist. Believed, I'm saying, because there have been other copies. And one was with the army headquarters, the other was with the defense secretary. The question arises why the report has not been made public. Normally, even the top secret reports are made public depending on the situation after 25 years or 50 years. But after 50 years, nothing is supposed to be confidential. It becomes a part of history, and rightly so. But here, not only Nehru government, but the successive governments as well, even opposed to Nehru, have kept the report top secret. Why? People were afraid that it blamed politicians. In fact, those who have studied the report, I have seen the report, I can tell you that it blames the army generals much more than it blames the politicians. Now, as a matter of fact, there's a curious situation here. The function of the army headquarters was outside the purview of the commission because army works under the civilian direction. The commission had access to the directives issued to the lower level of the army command, but did not have access to the command given by the defense minister or the prime minister to the army. As a matter of fact, even the army chief at that time, General Chaudhry, did not want to dig too deeply into the conduct of the top military echelon, especially General Kaur. The report does not speculate upon the political cause of the war. Its mandate was solely to conduct an operation review of the causes, and I quote, the reverses suffered by the army, particularly in Kemeng Division of Northeast Frontier Agency, now Arunachal Pradesh. The terms of reference were specific to inquire into what went wrong with the following: number one, training; number two, equipment; number three, system of command; number four, physical fitness of the troops; and five, capacity of the commanders at all levels to influence the men under their command. Now, governments are always stupid, mostly. When I say always, is if 80 out of 100 they are stupid, that means they are. And keeping a report secret just when it has been read by almost all the people who matter is just idiotic. But the Indian political class generally lacks sophistication. So when part of this report was revealed by Maxwell, Arun Jaitley had said that if we release a report, it will compromise national interest. If he had plainly said that he is against it, and he was the defense minister at that time, that he was no longer in opposition, he was sitting on the Treasury Bank. It might have made sense. The national interest excuse falls flat on various parameters. The most obvious reason is that the document in question refers to the strategic, very narrow set of failures in the India Chinese War of 1962. The review did not, as I said earlier, deal with the lack of political military coordination or higher direction of war. Had that issue been a feature of the report, its contents would have remained embarrassing to the political bosses. As a matter of fact, as I said earlier, this democratic review should have been made public, but it was not. And then, when part of it was released unofficially, the then Defense Secretary, Defense Minister Anthony, A.K. Anthony, Congress Defense Minister, he went into fast damage control and failed. But then only one part of the report was revealed, the second part was not revealed, and that is what is more important. If we look at it, the report was basically a reality check on the failure of the army. And the defense ministry stated, given the extremely sensitive nature of the content of the report, which are of current operational value, it is reiterated that the report be classified as top secret. Now, this itself is contradictory. It says current operational value. Now, what was current operational value in 1962-63 is not so in 2020-2021. I mean, it's 60 years almost, and you still call that a current. In which world are you living? La La Land or Dreamland? Critics of the Congress party say that it was kept secret because it blamed political miscalculation by Nehru for triggering a war. That's not the case because bureaucratic interference in decision making was not a part of the report. And I had a talk with one person, B.N. Malik, at one time long back. He said very clearly, this was before I had a look at the report, that the report was primarily blaming the army officials, the commanders. The key villain is General B.M. Kaul, who was the chief of General Staff, CGS, and that's the key operational post in the army. But after that, he was appointed to command 4 Corps and failed miserably in defending Nifa. And Nifa was the place which we call Arunachal Pradesh. The most important question is, did the political leadership provoke China into war with India against the advice of generals to implement a forward policy? The forward policy was sending small groups of Indian soldiers without adequate combat capability to occupy disputed areas. Now, that was a bad policy, but the implementation of that policy was a recommendatory policy, that was not an order. And the implementation was left to the generals. Army officer was extremely weak, General Thapa. And he was pressurized by a gung-ho General Kaul, who wanted to prove that he's capable. And they overruled the cautious approach of the headquarters of the Western Command, which insisted that a forward move must have adequate troop numbers. This was disregarded by General Kaul. The belief is that the pushing forward would not encounter Chinese resistance. And the defense minister at that time, Krishna Menon, Foreign Secretary Desai, Army Chief Thapar, and Director of Intelligence Bureau were Malik. They came to the decision to push forward the troops to have contact with China. And their feeling was that the army of China would not use force against these small groups, even if they were in a condition to do so. Now, this is amazing. How could they believe the Chinese would not act? Now, look at the historical perspective. Till 1959, the Indo-Tibetan border was in dormant one. Army was not even policing it. It was being policed by Indo-Tibetan border police. There were two violent clashes in August 1959, which nobody talks about. They were on Langu, the western edge of Nifa, and in October at Kongula in Kashmir, Xiang frontier, turning into a live border. So the government's instructions to the army were very clear to restrict any further Chinese ingress into Indian territory in Ladakh and re-establish our right of possession on our side of McMahon Line. This is not a forward policy, and Nehru had adopted it early to mid 50s. The operations to the two commands were similar: establish posts, patrol the area, show the flag, but avoid confrontation. There was to be no aggressive action. Troops were to fire only in self defense. Now, AHQ operated in a lead to go to war on a flawed army assessment of the Chinese threat. There was an outdated 1960 operational instruction manual. It was never updated. And according to this manual, which was depended on by call, Chinese could hardly have a regiment plus soldiers, that's about 4,000 to 5,000 soldiers, against Ladakh. But then Lieutenant General Daulat Singh at that time was very realistic. He said, no, that's wrong. And he wrote that the Chinese had a well equipped army of 15,000 people, not 4,000 people, as General Cole was saying. And they had developed all roads in the important areas and could concentrate huge reinforcement at any given place. This assessment of General Daulat was disregarded and thrown in the waste paper basket. Now, one thing which is important here, which has been glossed over and which is there in the report. Having secured the basic requirement, China went to great length to demonstrate its desire for settlement. General Prime Minister Zhou came to Delhi, but he was insulted. And the person who insulted him most was none other than Morarji Desai. Nehru failed miserably to take advantage of Zhou's visit, and Zhou went back disappointed. But now what they did was, in that short period, they built armor, roads, tracks to the western outpost, improved their capacity to develop the eastern sector, and they had three full divisions by July 1961. And this is in the report, which is not being released, being top secret. Three full divisions by the supported by the armor and the military artillery in Nifa, two in west and one in the east. So against all evidence of increasing disadvantages and all the warning that the Chinese gave us by actions like Galwan and Dola, the government thought that the Chinese would not take action. So this was wrong. General Daulat very clearly stated, and he told General Thapa that your assessment that the Chinese would not respond is wrong. Thus, this continued. I will not like to go into the details, but the unrealistic orders to the far-flung, technically unsound and uncoordinated small force was really shocking. So the Chief of General Staff, General Cole, he failed to advise the government of the weakness and the inability to implement the forward policy. There might have been pressures on the defense ministry, I don't deny it, from the prime minister's office. But it was the duty of the army officers to say that's not possible. Compare it with 1971 when General Manekshaw was called by Mrs. Gandhi and told that he should be ready. And he said, no, he would not be. He needs about 6 months. And then he said that he wants certain things which were immediately provided by Mrs. Gandhi. She directed Chavan and the railway minister, they were called to the office and told that whatever general manager wants has to be done. And it was done. The army, on one side, army gave a proper assessment and the political forces implemented it. Here in 1962, army did not give the proper assessment and the political forces were absolutely idiotic. And it has the general staff, particularly of General Cole, Major General Dillon, this belief in army with that disastrous result. And what happened was there was a sense of complacency. Well, we will go, we'll establish a post. Chinese either would not come or if they come, they'll looking at us, they withdraw. The biggest problem was that General Thapa did not want a General Kaur, who was close to Nehru. So there was a lapse on the part of the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of General Staff, and Chief of the Armed Forces. Historically, the soundness of India's territorial claim in Himalayas was because Nehru refused to consider Chinese request to negotiate. He should have negotiated. There was nothing wrong with that. And Nehru's order for an unprepared, underarmed army to clear Chinese was absolutely unreasonable. And it was stupid on the part of the army general not to tell him that it's not possible. Now, why is the report relevant today? That's the most important question. And why it has not been released? It has not been released because it shows the army in a bad light, the army commandos, and it shows the political ineptitude of the political leaders. In India, army is considered a holy cause, and nobody will blame army, whatever money. They are the martyrs, they are everything, which they are. But if there's something wrong is being done, it has to be brought to the notice of the people. The defeat highlighted several deficiencies I reported in the police. Now, before I come to that, I'll tell you what's the relevance. Most important thing is that the report very clearly states that the Chinese did not start the 1962 war. The report is very clear on that. It was started by India. And the image of China as an aggressive expansionist nation was a reflection of the US government and it suited Indian political leadership to cast them as aggressors. Now, which government would reveal that they were the originators of war? And this Henderson Brooks report very clearly states that the origin of the war was because of China. Now, here's a very uh, uh, nice comment by Singh Jaspal. Possibly the pigeon closed his eyes seeing the Chinese cat. Yes, that's there. Not that they saw the Chinese cat, they did not, they had the eyes open all right, but they refused to see the Chinese cat. They had a wrong impression. They said Chinese cat is going to come and love them. So coming back to that, why it is not being revealed is that reveals the hollowness of India's claim. Secondly, the report highlights that the civilian bureaucracy is expected to obey without question the ground realities, and the military leaders failed to provide the advice to the government. So, failure of the bureaucracy, failure of the military intelligence, and failure of the political intelligence. Then, India had no chief of staff, which now it has. The organization structure was a disdain for the military. No, Nehru was temperamentally against having a strong military. That was the biggest problem. He actually at one time he had said, well, police is sufficient. I want to disband the army. And he wanted to do it, but he was other sensible people said, no, don't do it. So publication is absolutely overdue. There's no denying the fact, but they are not doing it. And now the relevance is not there, whether they release it or not. Whatever they recommended has been implemented by the government. There is a chief of defense staff now. And at that time, now the decisions are taken. Modi government, I must praise it for all its failures. It has taken three very strong steps. We created the office of the Chief of Defense Services. Senior. Secondly, all the negotiations are not by the politicians, but by their professionals, both the bureaucrats and the army. All these seven talks, and even with the Pakistan and LOC issue now, it was done by the army commanders, supported by the diplomats. So this has been helpful because the political leaders make a hash of negotiations as far as the operational capability is concerned. So that has been these two actions of the Modi government, appointment of defense staff and giving army officers a freer hand, has in fact met the purposes. Second, of course, is detailing and dovetailing and transparency. Whether that is there or not, time would show. But there is a trend that it is now being more transparent. Still, in the interest of transparency, it's important that the report is released. At least its historical value, despite the fact that the two important recommendations have been implemented, would be important, and the students of defense and defense strategy would be able to learn where we falter. And then the history must be transparent ever. You cannot hide the history behind the holy cause or false impression of patriotism. We must give the due importance to the military, intelligence, strategy formation, which is not military, it's a combination of military and strategy by the diplomats. The political leadership should provide an outline, map outline, but the details thing must be done with the professional. In the meantime, there's no sense in not releasing it. As a matter of fact, if you release it, some misconceptions of people will remove because this report is extremely clear that it was a failure at both fronts, military and political. More military, less political, but still you cannot absorb the politics. Secondly, why the report should be released is because it will clear the clouds that are there in the minds of the people who always say that Chinese started the war. In the larger framework of the geopolitical nature, we have got to be honest and we have got to be authentic. If we keep on saying that the other party started the war and we are guilty, would ultimately destroy our credibility with ourselves, if not with others. We know that we were guilty, and yet we say we are not guilty. The coming generations are not going to forgive us for this false pretense. I hope the new government, though it has implemented two suggestions, there are two more which I am not going to talk about, but it's imperative that the government adopt those suggestions as well and releases the report for the general consumption. Thank you.